The Prime Minister has just tweeted out Iran will be committed to the nuclear agreement if and only if our counterparts show the same level of commitment. Bloomberg's Indira Lakshmanan is in Vienna now at the talks and around the sidelines listening to the whispers. Indira, this tweet make it seems like the Prime Minister is still, got a hard line on the talks and he's not going to back down very easily.
Well, I would interpret it another way. One way of looking at it is that he is backing up his negotiators. Remember, the Foreign Minister Javad Zarif went back to Tehran a couple days ago, and he came back renewed, meeting with John Kerry, meeting with the Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov, and at each turn he was saying, I believe we can get a deal. Yesterday, the Supreme Leader Rouhani actually tweeted out a picture of all of his negotiators standing in these really spotless white scientist jackets, and over it, the Supreme Leader said that he had confidence in his brave negotiators. So that's really been seen as giving them cachet to make the deal they need to make and preparing the ground in Tehran for that to happen. So I don't think it's so much taking hard lines as it is each side positioning itself. We heard President Obama yesterday saying he wasn't going to take a bad deal. So this is probably Khamenei saying, well, we're not going to take a bad deal either.
And Vani, we got a tweet out from the Iranian parties. It sounds like Dr. Phil and all that. I think it's about commitment. Iran will be committed to the nuclear agreement if and only if our counterparts show the same level of commitment. We have commitment, Bonnie.
We have commitment, but Indira, what I would suggest is that the position has already been decided. This isn't like Greece where things are changing on a minute-by-minute basis. Rouhani knows exactly how this is going to play out, doesn't he? And Kerry probably too.
Yeah, I mean, and the really key news development this morning is that the IAEA, which means the UN's atomic energy inspectors, have announced that they will be traveling to Tehran tomorrow to meet with Iran's president and to meet with the head of the National Security Council. This is very big because they are going to be talking about the last major stumbling block that remains between the two sides, which is how do you grant access to the UN inspectors to look at all of Iran's nuclear sites, both the declared ones and any suspicious sites that may not have been declared. This is key because remember, part of this whole deal is not just what Iran is going to do going forward, but establishing to the satisfaction of the international community what did it do in the past. That means resolving the so-called PMD file, which is the possible military dimensions of Iran's past work. And so that is what they're going to be talking about tomorrow. If they can make a breakthrough on that, then it's entirely possible that we'll see a deal next week.
What is Russia adding to all this? What did Lavrov add?
Yeah, Russia has taken a hard line on the UN Security Council issue, wanting to make sure that any deal that they have will be enshrined in the UN Security Council and wanting to make sure that UN Security Council sanctions do get lifted. But we do have an exclusive story today that Russia and China have given way on this question of having a veto over the snapback of sanctions. So Bloomberg is reporting exclusively that they have given in on this so that some sort of compromise is coming up about sanctions relief and sanctions snapback if Iran were to cheat.
Indira, I want you to step back and explain to our viewers and listeners, particularly in America, why this is important. I want you to give us Indira 101 on why these talks are so important to the United States. Go.
All right, the primer. This is partly because of the incredible geopolitical significance of Iran. Don't forget, economically, they are the #2 natural gas reserves in the world. They're the #4 oil reserves in the world. They have been really cut off from U.S. trade for 3 decades, but their oil trade, as we know, has halved in the last year and a half because of U.S. and European sanctions. So this is about opening a major market in the Persian Gulf. Geopolitically, it's about trying to rein in Iran's nuclear ambitions. Remember, this is a country that has done a lot of state-sponsored terrorism, human rights abuses on its own people, and so it's really trying to shift the balance in the Middle East.
Indira, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. Very valuable. Indira Lakshmanan coming to us from Vienna.